Well, I've come along to St Ninians, to their theatre area here. I'm talking with Hector Duff, who's a legend. How old are you? 92, did you say to me?
Yes, I'll be 93 in October. So
amazing. Well, you go around all the schools talking about your experiences in World War II.
Yes.
I mean, this is something that, to so many people now, is just so far away in history. It's almost unbelievable, isn't it?
Yes, it is really, and it's a shame that it should be forgotten. What's happened, as you say, is history, but to forget it, I think it's a crime. So that I'm quite pleased to go around, and the schools have asked me. I say I've been doing it now for 15 years, and I get a lot of pressure out of talking to the children. I'm quite sure from the questions they ask, I'm quite sure that they enjoy it, and they've told me many, many times they'll learn more from what I'm talking to them about the war and what happened to me. That they say it's far better than reading it in a textbook.
Have you got that sort of favourite story that really does draw everyone in?
Well, no, I can't think of one offhand, Paul.
So many of it.
Yeah, there are so many. Yes, many.
So, what do you get out of this?
I get a lot of pressure out of telling them about it, and because I think in Germany, all this sort of thing goes on every day. It's in their curriculum at school that they must be taught it, including the Holocaust, of course. And no, I get a lot of pleasure out of going and see it, and you can tell how intent the children are listening to every word they're saying, and none of them falling asleep.
Well, tell us about your war. I mean, where did you serve and what did you do?
Well, I served I went first of all out to Egypt, and I was in Egypt for 3 years. I fought all through the Egyptian War, the North African War. Then when that finished in 1942, well, landed in Italy in the invasion of Italy at Salerno, and I fought away all the way up through Italy till north of Naples, and then came home. They promised to get us home on Christmas 43, but we didn't get home till January 44. And then I think we had about 5 weeks leave then, because we'd been away since 1940. And we had leave, then we were re-equipped with new tanks and told that we were going to be in the landing in Normandy. They didn't say Normandy, we were going to be in the landing in Europe whenever it was, and we trained for that. And then I landed in Normandy on Gold Beach on the 2 o'clock in the afternoon of D-Day. The infantry went in first, but we were the first tanks to land. The 7th Armoured Division were the first tanks to land. And I fought all the way through that, the Normandy campaign, through Belgium, Holland, crossed the Rhine, went into Germany and fought up to Hamburg, and that was on May the 8th, and the war finished. And that's where I finished there. And I went into Berlin, and I went into Berlin and I was in the victory parade, and whilst I was in there, I met the general that I had landed with in Normandy, and he asked me to see if I would like to come into Berlin and drive him then. He was the deputy director of military government in Berlin, where he used to meet with the 4 powers, the French, American, German, Russians, not the Germans, the Russians, and they used to meet and decide what part of occupied Germany was going to be looked after by who and when. So I had a very interesting time there, and I was in the victory parade. The 7th Armoured Division were well represented in the victory parade, and I had 3 months there, and then I was demobbed. I came home.
Did it change you much?
What, my army work life?
Yeah.
Well, you can't forget it. You can't put it to one side. You can always forget it, and there are many, many little things that sort of bring you back to you again very, very. Oh, it's some things you can't forget. The smell of death and all that sort of thing, and hear men screaming, trying to get out of tanks, can't get out, injured and that sort of thing. Oh, it's things you'll never forget.
And when you talk to the children, and I mean,
it depends on whether it's secondary or the primary school.
Yeah.
The secondary school, I can tell them a little bit more about the fighting and that sort of thing, and.
I mean, they all play video games these days. It's almost like they're doing their own
exactly.
wars,
So that's true. They do need, yeah. But it's an awful lot of little things that you never ever forget. That you're always amazed that you've outlived yesterday. You never think you're going to survive. You get some sort of a sixth sense. And that is that which enables you. You forget about all your emotions, and it enables that 6th sense. Is a sense to survive. And you don't, when you're firing at somebody, you don't think of them as a person, you think of them as a target. And you know that he's a target that he can fire back at you. So you've got to make sure that when you fire, that he's not going to be in a position to fire back at you, and little things like that. And they all come to you from time to time.
And we touched on your age at the beginning of this. I mean, the fact is, people are dying out, all your friends and colleagues. You know, these stories won't be told forever, in a sense, not first-hand anyway.
Yeah. Well, when I started 15 years ago here, there were 5 of us, and now I'm the only one left now that there are still, I still have, in the Normandy veterans, we still have veterans, and we still have veterans and they're not connected with that, but some of them don't like talking, they're a bit shy, I suppose, but I've now been doing it for so long that I feel quite happy. I'm quite pleased to be able to talk to the children.